mentions as classic finance 20. Yeah. If you select the second option, that is when the client gets the interest rate of 0.95%, and they have to save 50% instead of 40%. If you save the classic finance 20, that's when the client has to save only 40%, and the rest 60% is given out on a loan at what's the percentage?
1.75.
I went to watch it.
1.7.
Yes, 1.7. What's the percentage per loan for the amount less than 15,000 euros? Or less than 15,000
Strawberry milkshake बोला किसने है? Strawberry milkshake?
Can you repeat the question?
Teja Pizza, strawberry milkshake.
I mentioned the table yesterday. What is the interest rate the client will get if they make a contract of Bauspar less than 50,000 or 100,000?
थोड़ा सा? I'll make थोड़ा सा.
2.25.
That's correct. Okay. So let's say you will only select Classic Finance 20.
I use some from this and some mine.
Now, in the Bauspar Zuma, where you see 25,000 euros,
No, I have
yes,
one.
over here. How much Bauspar contracts you want to make?
You want to check others as well, no?
500,000, 400,000. Okay, cool. Go on next. So you see your client has to contribute 1,600 euros every month. That's the first option. If the client says they also want to put a yearly amount, let's say their Christmas bonus or vacation bonus, then this is the amount you will write on the second box. Yeah, second one, yes. Maybe you can write 5,000. Yeah, 3,000. And if the client says that they have right now a bank balance of 25,000 euros and they would like to put 2,000 out of that as one time, then you will put that number in the third column, the third row. Yes. If your client is not Christian, you would remove the church tax. So you see on the right hand side bottom a small box. Yes, you untick that because your client is not Christian. And there's nothing that has to be done over here. You leave the rest of the thing as it is. You go on next. No changes required here. Next. Next. Okay. So you see that the contract starts on 30th of March 2024. The client is contributing 1,600 a month. In total, how much they will contribute is 205,000 euros. And 15th of November 2032 is when they are eligible to take out a loan. And the loan amount that they will get is around about 194,000, which is, let's say, 200 euros. Yes. Go on next. Okay. And do you see the number as 6,400? Can you put your cursor over there? On the left hand side, from the bottom third number. Left hand side.
Okay, this one?
Yes. This is the cost of the contract. So if you remember, I mentioned yesterday 1.6%. Also, can please someone make an Excel sheet of the attendance in the chat? Can somebody help me with that? Because we don't have Vinod or his VM today. Who would do it? Neelam, can you put this into an Excel sheet? Okay.
Yes.
Right. So you see over here, the client is also earning 0.05% interest. And for that reason, just above 6,400, you see the number 437 euros and 41 cents. This is how much the client will earn over the period of time. And that's the cost. And we have removed the church tax, so he does not have to pay that. And the last date when he pays the loan is, go one slide back. If the client says, when does my loan end? So you see the number 29th of February 2040, just above 2400, correct? That's the time by when he will be debt free. So he starts the investment today. He has to save money till 2032, and in 2040 he is debt free. Okay, go on to the next slide. Go on to the next slide. To be honest, Bauspar contract is the super simplest one to make. You don't have to make any changes. You just have to write the amount of Bauspar and how much you would like to do it monthly. That's it. Go on next. That's it. So if you just want to download the proposal, you will stop over here and you will select the option as Schließen or Übernehmen. Don't click right now. Not now. Only if you want to create a proposal. But if you want to create a contract, you will go one step further. Go next. So just below Indian, you will write the Steuernummer. It is super important to write the tax ID of your client. If you want, you can cross-check that 20 times because this is super important number and make sure it is the right and the most accurate number. Go on the next. Okay, so over here you have selected what's the bank details. If you want to change it, you can change that as well. If the wife wants to pay or whoever wants to pay, go on next. So if anybody who does not have a DBAG online system access, once I ask Rajesh to select the option, you can then click the photograph so that you always know which option to select. Just click on the box, which is the first one, in the invoice. That's it. That's all what you select over here. And this box is only for data, Datenschutz Erklärung, blah, 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 the data consent, and so on and so forth. Did everybody click a photograph or you need more time? You can raise your hands in the chat if you clicked it. Okay, go on next. That's it. Select the option Schließen and Übernehmen. Übernehmen. Don't have to click anything over here. That's it. If you want to show this to the client as a proposal, you will select the option printer. Yes. And then Abbrechen. You never select the other option, and then you click the middle option, which means Vorschau. So welcome to the German class. Vorschau means preview. So you select on preview, and then it creates the PDF. Please click on the option Abbrechen. Cancel this. Okay. If you have to make the contract, does anybody know where to click when you have to make the contract? Rajesh, don't click because you already created many contracts, so he's out. Can anybody guess where to click if you have to create the contract?
On print option.
On?
Print option.
No.
Beside that. Left side.
Yes, correct. So you see a kind of pen on the left hand side with a screen. Yeah, that's where you click. Click on that. Abbrechen. And then select the left option, Übertragen. Once more, Übertragen. So now the contract is transferred to Meine Antrag. That's where you make the contract and then you send it to the client. So we'll make the contract but we'll not send it to the client, or else he will get confused. Why is Rajesh sending him the contract? So can you open Meine Antrag? You can just click on the option OK. Right. So does anybody have any question till here? This is the most simplest one compared to you creating contract for VA, or you creating for kids, or for Basis renter, I don't know if you had training on that already or not. But yeah, in this one, you just put the Bauspar amount, how much the client wants, and the amount he wants to put every month. That's it. And definitely the tax ID of the husband and the wife. No questions here?
We don't need to mention the subsidiary here, like if the customer getting any.
What was the first criteria for subsidy? Consider this as a quiz for everybody. What is the first criteria to get subsidy from the government?
Salary based
Yes.
on the brutto. Yeah.
How much was the brutto for the government?
Less than 1,700 euros. Yeah. No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
This is for the employer.
How much was for the
only
government?
able to pay 175 euro per month, but he can only contribute.
No. What was the salary requirement to get the state subsidy, the government subsidy? Imagine your client asking you this question and you can't answer, you don't have the numbers on the fingertips. And the client would think maybe you don't have complete information and the client goes away. So it's super duper important that you remember all of these numbers. Who remembers what's the salary criteria to receive government subsidy? And if yes, how much is the maximum government subsidy they can receive?
10%.
Okay, one of you is saying 10%. And how much was that in numbers? Now I know why nobody asked much questions yesterday for Bauspar. Maybe all of them were sleeping. That's why I want the videos on this, for this whole reason. We spent 2 hours discussing everything about Bauspar, and imagine you go and talk to your client about Bauspar, and that's the first question he puts up, and then you are unable to answer. What's the salary requirement to receive state government subsidy? So the person who said 10% is also wrong. It's not 10%. But was at least a little bit close.
8.8%.
8%?
8.8.
470 euros, I guess, right? 9%.
470 euros?
Yeah, for the employee.
Now I'm asking for state subsidy, the government subsidy. I've not yet come to the employer subsidy. We'll talk about the employer subsidy as well. But for now, how much is the subsidy from the government? For Bauspar, what should be your income as single, as married? And how much is it in percentage and what's the number?
Sai. నీకు నైట్ కావాలి ఇప్పుడు నైట్ కావాలి ఇప్పుడు తర్వాత ఇస్తాను ఇప్పుడు 8 తర్వాత ఇస్తాను మీటింగ్ ఉంది ఇప్పుడు వెళ్తున్నాను
Percentage is, I think, 9%. But and the numbers, it was 470
That's
euros,
correct.
I think.
But then what was the income? At least you answered 2 questions correct.
17,900.
That's correct. So that means only 2 people were attending the session yesterday out of the entire Excel sheet. And that's a bad number, actually. Because when your client would ask you these questions upfront, let's say, for example, your client Googled this information and he knows more information than you, and you are unable to answer such questions. The client thinks you are incapable, and then you complain that we don't have clients or it's hard to convert them. It's not hard always. Sometimes it's also because of the lack of information. So please make sure that you write it down and you know your numbers pretty well. So it was 470 euros for people who are single. 9% was the subsidy maximum given. So whichever is the lower number, the government gives that. And the income for single people has to be 17,900, which was correctly mentioned by Gaurav. What's the income for two people?
35,800.
Can you say again, Gaurav?
35,800.
Yes. So 35,800 was the income for people who are married and still want to receive the government subsidy. What's the other subsidy after the government one? I think someone of you said employer subsidy.
Yes, employer and Wohngebäude.
So it's not Wohngebäude, it's Wohnungsprämie. So it's WOHNUNGSPRAMIE. It's known as Wohnungsprämie. Wohngebäude is a different type of insurance. Okay. So, what is the employer? Let's say, what is the housing society subsidy? How much is that?
8.8.
8.8. Is this the employer or Wohnungsprämie? Okay. Does anybody else wants to give it a try?
Employer
I'll
is
give you this percentage was mentioned by somebody else before, and I said that's wrong.
Yeah, that was me.
it's for me. I told 9%.
No. For the housing, so Wohnungsprämie in English would be housing society. The housing society does not give 9% subsidy. 9% is from the government. How much is it from the housing society?
8.8.
No.
It's somewhere 3%.
No. Hint is the number was mentioned by somebody before. When I was asking about the government subsidy, at that point I said that's the wrong
Oh,
number.
10%?
10%.
Excellent. It's 10%. And how much should be the income as single and as married?
Single should be less than or equal to 1,700 euros, and for the married is 3,700.
No.
25,600, around 25,600 for single, and for the couple it's 52,000.
No.
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 Single it's 470.
How much for single?
470. 940.
No. The question is how much should be the income? So 10% is the right answer given by Neela, is the subsidy from the housing society, which we call as Wohnungsprämie.
Then it's
940.
35,000 for the single and 70,000 for
Excellent. Excellent. So that means yes, 3 people attended the session ideally. It's Gaurav, Neelam, and Sharath. So it's 35,000 for single and 70,000 for married people. How much is that in terms of euros? How much subsidy per year in terms of euros? minus 200, minus 240, 700. 700 is for single and 1400 is for married people. Okie dokie. Employer. How does it look with the employer?
Thank
Teja,
you.
You can take your time, not a problem.
Teja,
Think about it.
Quantity.
वो रखो उसमें.
Where is it? That's the one, sir.
Is it 9%?
Yes, that's correct.
क्या हो गया? Is it good or no? I did not taste
I'll give you
it.
the hint.
Nice.
It's
You
almost
need
similar
spoon
to
to
one
mix
of the
it?
numbers that we just discussed.
See, here, if you can mix.
Yes,
Yeah,
for
it's
the
gonna
single
be
is
a spoon, I
1700
This one's some
Correct.
water.
It's on
and
the
for
board.
married is
Wanted a-
3700.
Oh, chunk है ना?
You
चलेगा.
you are considering 10 less. 17,900 total. 35,800 total, again for the married. And the subsidy number remains the same.
One
Okay.
or like small
What was
ticket
the
stuff,
other
like
thing that I
this is
said
something
that the
use के
employer
साथ
can
करके
pay your
चलेगा.
employees?
One meter
I want to see who is the one with more intent
बचपन में
listening in the training. I can't give you hint because then it's easy to identify. But I said for a fraction of a second one word that if your employer wants, they can also get this money. I also gave what's the maximum amount which is allowed by the employer to give. I don't want the German word. I just want you to remember what's the amount.
After
And I
he made
said
it for
the
shit.
employer can pay for it and the person can also use it to add to his Bauspar.
Yeah,
Where is that?
Subsidy?
Huh?
What's the full form?
उसने he registered for this German A1 in Munich.
That's full form of
Like
DBAG?
So
Deutsche Vermögensberatung.
Okay, so let's concentrate on the second word, Vermögens. So VL full form is Vermögenswirksame Leistungen.
Too good.
So I'll tell you where that name is. Double click Rajesh on this product, Bauspar.
लेकिन जड़ा क्या हुआ?
मतलब मेरे को गुस्सा करके फोन काट दिया.
That means only one person was doing intentful listening. Go on the next slide.
पहले मैं निजर निकल रही थी.
Next.
वो बोलता है मैं शॉवर लेने जा रहा हूँ आता हूँ.
Next.
फिर बोलता है मैं ब्रेक में आ रहा हूँ.
Okay.
फिर ब्रेक में कॉल
Can you
किया तो
see
बोलता है
right
कि मैं नहीं.
in the
तो
middle?
मेरी अटेंडेंस
there is a
लगा.
word
मैं बोली
written
घर पे
BL.
बैठा है तो
And on
इधर
the
कॉलेज
left
आके
hand
नहीं
side, you
बैठ
see
सकता. वैसे भी कभी
Vermögenswirksame
जाओ कभी भी
Leistungen.
जॉब चलता है उसमें.
If your client gets this money, you just have to simply click on the
मतलब बोला
box.
ठीक है तू
And you
अटेंडेंस
just
लगा
have
रही
to
है.
write
मैं
down
बोला नहीं
the
मैं नहीं
amount.
साइन करूँगा.
What is the maximum
बोला ठीक है
amount
मैं
given
नहीं आ
by
रहा हूँ.
the employer?
और फोन कट.
940 euros.
मैं
No.
बोली भाई ये एटीट्यूड
Remove
मेरे
the
सामने
letter
नहीं
9.
चलेगा. मतलब कल
40
मेरा भी
years?
अब डॉक्टर का अपॉइंटमेंट है बट आई एम गोइंग टू गो टू द क्लास एंड देन
That's the max they are allowed to give.
डॉक्टर्स
Only 40 euro?
Only 40. That's the max. Okay?
से
So your employer can also give you 12 euros. It's up to them. Regardless, you earn 100,000 euros a year,
दोनों ऐसा है
1
like
million a year in salary,
तो मैं
doesn't
उसको
matter.
बहुत बड़े-बड़े
But
मैसेज
that's the
किया.
max what they get.
मैसेज किया था.
Okay. So, Rajesh, can you open mine
नाक में
answer?
चले गए बहुत.
मैं उसको
Now, for
बोला
the people who
when you
are
need my help
PM,
then I'll surely help
you
you.
can only create
But
the
not like
contract
this,
till
like you are
where
sitting at
Rajesh
home.
has
You're
created.
not coming to the
For the
class.
people
If there's some
above
valuable
PM,
then I can
who are BBA,
understand.
AL, and so on, will have
You should
access to
understand
this
like who is your beneficiary and who
minor
is not.
contract, and this is where you can forward the contract to the client. So, if you can at least create the contract till what point till Rajesh did so far
मैं
now,
मुझे भाई याद है
it
घर में
makes the
बैठे
job
तुम
of
कॉलेज में
your
आके बैठ
coach
जाओ और वो
pretty
लिटरली
easy.
उसका अगर
And then it
लेक्चर
also
सुनते
helps
बोल
you
नहीं होगा
that
उसका
tomorrow when you get
so
promoted,
good वो प्रोफेसर
you
जो आया
at least know half of the process.
इसका like क्या scene है like after this 1 week of classes
there's a project
that's it no exam.
So this system is super slow. I don't mean Rajesh laptop, I mean mine.
When is it?
Okay?
May
Because it would download,
second
I think in Bauspar contract there are around about
Then you'll get the
80, 82, 85 page. So it
Why
will
you did
transfer,
not
it will
take
download.
मेरे
तुमने
course
एक्स्ट्रा
में
क्रेडिट में कर लिया होता था
I cannot
नदीम
take it.
बगरा बहुत सारे
So
लोग
till the
आ
time
रहे
this
हैं
opens
I cannot
up,
take it in my
does
course
anybody
में.
have any
मेरे course
question?
में available नहीं है.
you could have
I
asked
did not get my answer. Like, what is somebody get the subsidiary? We have to mention somewhere in the contract.
अभी मेरा एक दिक्कत हो रहा है अभी मैंने वो मेरे
If
को
you
ना
get the
गूगल डॉट
subsidy, if
को
you're
मेल
eligible
डालना
for it, it will automatically be credited to your contract by the government. That's why we would put your tax ID number into it
Okay.
and also your self rent and physician number.
नया about
That's both. That's already given to the Bauspar company. So if you're eligible for it, it will be
कंप्यूटर
already
साइंस में
credited
मेरे को
to your
15 क्रेडिट नहीं करना
Okay.
है मेरे को बेसिक ऑफ कंप्यूटर साइंस करना है तो आई विल शो देम कि भाई मैंने देखा सब ये इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के
Can you try to search the name Rajesh,
सब
the
करा
client on the top? In
तो मैं
our
क्यों फिर
console?
उस पर करूँ ना मुझे लग रहा था कि नहीं मेरा यही है मैं अभी ये भी सोच रही हूँ ISW लूँ कि नहीं लूँ
ये ऐसे भी क्या है?
ISW भाई तो इसका एक प्रोजेक्ट बनाना होता है ना बट इस बार उसका प्रोजेक्ट हट गया है
विशाल मैंने पूछा ISW बोलता है like मैंने बाद में ISW मतलब क्या है?
सॉफ्टवेयर इंट्रोडक्शन टू सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग फॉर इंजीनियर्स
On the extreme left side,
ये
go on
बोलते हैं मुझे
pen,
Introduction to Computer Science for Software Engineers.
वो तो ICSE
ICSE
था
हो ये ICSE like abbreviation बता रहे हैं मुझे ISW बोल रहे हैं.
normally
तो
in
अभी
this
वो उसका
golden
ये
button you will
अरुण ही
click
है उसका
and you will
ट्विटर है
upload the passport
दो
copy
है उसके
of the client.
बट
the front
प्रॉब्लम
page
ये
and
कि
the back
मैंने
page.
कभी का लास्ट
But
सेमेस्टर
right now we don't need to do it since we are
मतलब
not sending it to
प्रेजेंटेशन
the client.
देना था तो
Yeah,
दैट
click on
वाज
that.
द एग्जाम पार्ट अभी भाई प्रॉपर हर वीक
Pen
4
author
घंटे
shift
का
English.
लेक्चर रहेगा
Yes.
एक्सरसाइज क्लास भी रहेगी और एग्जाम
The best way to make the process smooth is after every
बोल रहे हैं
click
ना वो scene.
you count till 10.
विशाल
If you don't
हाँ.
want your minor answer to
वो
hang,
scene बोल रहे हैं ना.
this is the best practice I do. After every click you count till 10, and the system should be ready to help you go on the next page.
Aptitude है पहले. अभी ये दोनों like they just like how it goes. Then after that like सुबह उठने के बाद like कि
Now
Bill
click on the
Gaudi ऐसा
option
कुछ तो
house
बोल
fueling
के एक
on
बार
the
में
right hand side.
Americans 3 type of sex. PT sex, sad sex, love sex, sex. ऐसा कुछ बोल के like that is like hilarious the dialogue.
As I said, count till 10 after you make every click.
वो तो बहुत बड़ा मीम हो गया इसके बाद like this movie came in
So,
2014
All the information that you have updated in the system when we created the contract would be reflecting over here. There is nothing much that you have to change.
या भी मॉर्निंग हो गई क्या?
उसके बाद आता है.
Can you click on the golden arrow on the top to the right hand side?
मेरे नाक में चला गया है बहुत.
Okay, click once more. And wait till 10.
और तेरा तो
Till you
पता ना
count
क्या
10.
है?
So, is it me who
No,
is
no,
not
no,
able
sugar ना
to
डाली
see the
उसमें
entire
ज़्यादा.
page, or is it everyone?
शुगर मैंने एकदम
पर
थोड़ा
उसने आज चॉकलेट भी
Everyone?
खाया फिर
Okay.
बाद में मूंगटा भी
Since we are not able to see, I'll just tell you what these 4 options are.
चार
The first option is data consent. So you always select yes. That means
बट इसमें मैंने बहुत कम शुगर
Second
डाला
option
है
is that
max to max
we
100 calories.
completed the consultation call and we followed everything. So you will
I'll
also
tell you how many
select
calories I
yes to that.
सुबह
That
400
means the
calories
left-hand side
before
option.
going to
The
gym.
third and the fourth option you will
Gym से
always
आने के
select first. The
बाद
third option is that the
इधर
client
आया
will
ना?
be charged
मैं action
50
डालना
euros.
पड़ेगा.
that is 50 to 60 calories.
बट
दो pieces
कॉफी
लिया ना?
Select no.
That is
The
50 to
last
60
option is
calories.
that the client
Then
will
after
be
that I
getting
had
the
lunch.
marketing
That
emails.
will be somewhere around
from
800
Bauspar.
calories.
For that also I would
Then
select
now
yes.
again I had this.
मैं कॉफी
So for the first
And this
two
one will be
boxes,
somewhere
it's the
around,
left hand side
200.
option. For the last two
Yeah.
boxes,
Yeah.
it's the right
In
hand
total
side
like
option.
max to max 1600 1800 calories. That's it.
Okay. You can click
I'm
on
going
the
with
arrow
400
on
calorie
what's
deficit.
the next. I don't
I
think
should
it will
have
allow
1600.
you will
Okay, like this will be
Click
somewhere
again.
around 1500 to
Once more.
We don't even know how
Yeah,
much
it did allow you to go to the next. So then you check all these boxes.
That's why I said okay to
Yes, yes, yes to all of them. On the right hand side.
400, 800,
Yes,
100 over
1,
there.
2, 3.
You should just
On
say,
the
okay,
next.
okay, we have to take how much calories. Okay, then now the
You
plan
can
is
select
that
this 2 box again. No,
we want
wait.
to drink tea.
Yeah,
Forget.
this one.
Let calorie be away. Let the tea come.
Yes.
Yeah, gas can go like
Now go on the next.
basically like human needs 2000 calories minimum. If you take 2000 calories,
More than enough.
not more than enough. Like even if you don't do any
Okay,
exercise,
won't
like, you
allow
won't
me
get
till
fat.
you
Yeah, yeah.
select all those 4 options over here. So once you put all this information, I don't know why the first name of the client is not popping up. Ideally, it should come here by default.
मेरी अपनी बताओ मैं अगर हुए होंगे अपने.
Can you write your first
How
name
much
here?
is 3 roti calories?
You can judge
Huh?
by Rajesh.
मिला के
Yes.
या पर रोटी?
Go on next.
पर रोटी या मिला के?
3 rotis.
3 rotis will be somewhere around.
This one or
No,
है
no,
ना?
always
फिर
the right hand
सब्जी
side
खाया
one,
हमने।
the golden one.
ये बेसन मिला के।
And
Okay,
curd.
this is okay
Click
नहीं?
over here. The
Maybe like a
2 first
layer to
boxes
around
is yes,
400.
yes. Last 2 boxes is normal.
तो 700. और उसमें से 2 चाय कर्ड थोड़ी
Wait,
सा
the first one has not yet been selected.
तो वो अपना हाफ हाफ करता है।
Go on the next.
यहाँ से बाहर की नहीं.
Yeah, actually like don't you
2
like,
चाय
if you-
बिस्किट
First thing is like if you're working out, like no need to count the calories.
but I'm not
Click
working
on the
out,
left hand
no?
side. Ownership.
If I personally feel when you're
That
not
means the
working out
client
that
is
time,
not
you
here
should
and you want
calculate
to
the
send them
calories.
across.
Because when you're working out anyhow, you think about that.
No, actually when you're working out, also you need to calculate the
Step
calories,
again
but you
with
should
me.
not
Yes.
like go about 2,500, 3,000 calories.
Yeah,
Click the
yeah.
golden button on the top.
There I
on the
wanted
right-hand
to
side.
go to Roseman to change this one.
Oh, you have to change this one.
हाँ ना ये वो बोला था कि मैं सेरामिडन आ गया तुमने
As I said, count till 10.
सेरामिडन चाहिए
Oh.
Click again.
ये तुमको BB cream चाहिए?
तुम लेके आया ना
मेरे पास है, चाहिए?
they do not I'm not using the I don't know but whether it will
Once
suit
more.
my skin or not
नीचे आता है ना उस टाइम में देख ले.
You keep on doing this till you see the option on the
मुझे
right
बोला
hand
क्यों
side
why you're not
coming
using
up
it
as fair
It's not like
ownership.
it's not that I'm not using it, but I'm just like
Yes.
I'm going out.
Right hand side, you see this text, click on that.
then you need to get you don't need to get
This one?
BB
For
cream.
this
You
way.
need to get concealer for that concealer hides your
Click on the
not
golden
BB
button.
cream.
Concealer मेरे.
This one again?
किधर मिलता है?
Yes. Yes.
You get a Roseman DM you will get
इस बार
everything.
तुम्हें तेरे साथ जाता हूँ तो
You need to get consular.
Yeah,
मुझे भी नहीं पता
Prabhuda.
कैसे करते हैं. But हाँ like better that I
That's
have
it.
this so I just
The
cover it
contract
with
is done.
concealer.
तेरे पास एक
And now we just have to send it to the client. So,
That is not
Rajesh, if
concealer,
you
that
want,
is
you can
makeup
keep this. Or you
मुझे
can
भी
delete
मुझे भी
it.
इसके
You
बाद
know
इसके
how
वजह
to
से
delete
पता
it.
चला. उस दिन ये और दर्शना डिस्कस कर रहे हैं इसके बारे में.
This contact
अब
now.
सुना
I
मैंने.
have no idea.
Okay. On the left hand side, you see a
And
small
this
arrow.
is not.
There is concealer.
Yeah, this one is concealer.
Okay. Do you see on the right hand side top the word written as pay our mind?
You need to like tap
Click
it
on
on
that.
someone's ये चीज़ है ना. ये समझ
Go on the left and select the dustbin logo. Extreme left, yes.
And then you have to check it like this.
The ocean.
हाँ, but वो हर एक के
Red
skin
one?
tone के साथ होता है concealer.
That's it. And then you
Okay.
click on
तुम्हारा
the right hand
हाँ,
side up
but ये
arrow
अभी
again.
तुम्हारा white
You
हो
can
जाएगा
use the
इसमें ना
contract
because
of yours.
that is not
That's it.
matching your skin
So
tone.
what do
हाँ,
person
तेजा प्रभुदेव है भाई सब सूट होता है उस पे कोई सीन नहीं.
So I did show you how to
Blend it.
create a contract in DBAG online system.
Blend
And I
it,
did show you
It
how
will
to
be
create
more
a
bright
contract in
because
blend
it
it.
is not
Now,
your
is there
skin
anybody who
tone.
would
And
say which
you
I
are
would like
done.
to try it?
So with concealer
Does
you
anyone
can
Then like I think
try it on their own by sharing the
you
screen?
need to get
Or
darker
Rajesh, you can stop
shades.
sharing the screen.
I think इसको like
You need to tap. You like you don't need
So let's
to
say
do it
first
like
of all,
this. Just tap.
The people who
it.
have the access to
Yeah.
DBAG online
भी ऐसे
system
use
can
करता हूँ.
raise
फिर
their
एक थोड़ा
hands.
लगा के ऐसा जैसे अप्लाई करता
But for like this marks and all, it's the concealer. It's not
okay.
If I go this time, if I go to India,
Their name was Pushpa.
get
right?
the
Yes.
CO2 done.
Okay.
CO2
Because I see a different name, but I remember. Okay.
like stars.
Pushpa has it. Rajesh has the access to
3
DBAG.
months
I don't care.
Who
So
else?
me
Three
follow
sessions
me
for-
like whatever he like. And even if I'm posting
Shanam?
on that, so now I don't care about
Neelam
it.
as well.
Now I just want to improve my skin.
Yeah.
But I think for now the reason is his
That's it?
dandruff now. They are getting so many
Shamana
pimples.
as well.
Basically 1 year back मेरा skin ऐसा नहीं है. 1 year back like बहुत smooth है मेरा skin.
Hmm.
Like वो
Gaurav
pimples
also
आया,
has the access
उसको
to
like
DBAG
I
online
was
system.
like I started squeezing them. ना. उसके उसके बाद ऐसा हो
yes,
गया
Maria, is it correct? Did I
और
say
ये
your
बैक
name
का
correct?
स्किन तो लाइक भाई
Yeah, I
बहुत
should.
बहुत
Aishwarya,
smooth है
okay. Aishwarya also has the access.
Maybe I'm going to order at the
Any one of you who wants to try it,
MNC and all.
to
इस
create
बार
this
इंडिया गया
contract
तो लाइक
yourself,
जस्ट गेट द CO2 लेजर डन 2-3 sittings लगता है
who wants to
But
try?
anyways, if you get pimples again, then again it will be the same.
अभी पिंपल्स नहीं आ रहे हैं ना लकीली
I don't know, like I'm getting this
No
more
one?
smaller. The any like I don't know,
Okay.
like
I
I
think
get
like मेरे रूम का वाटर
Let's
की
have a
वजह
quiz
से
time.
पिंपल्स आना चालू हो गया
So I want everybody to have active participation.
like apartment में वाटर
The better you participate, the easier it gets for you when you have to convert your clients.
अभी like proper skincare कर
What
रहा
are the
हूँ,
three
like,
things you can use the Bauspar money for?
they just like
Raise your hands, don't just unmute yourself and
I
answer.
think it's been
Raise your
already
hands.
1 month I guess
What are the three things? Yes,
I'm
Pushpa?
going to order
Innovation.
this
Okay,
face
stop.
wash.
मैंने
One answer renovation. Who else
पहले
wants to
का
give the other two?
foaming
Just
face
one.
wash बोल के
If you know all three stuff, just give one answer.
Priya,
Priyanka?
वो face wash अभी मेरा खत्म हो गया है.
It's a renovation.
अचानक से इसने कर
That's already what Pushpa said, renovation.
Repay. Repay.
Repay what?
Repay.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Rishi, what was the second one?
Buy
By what?
a new house.
Okay. Can a piece of land be purchased?
Yes.
Can a shop be purchased?
Surgery, he's hospitalized. Urgent brain
Yes.
surgery.
Everything that is a real estate can be purchased, but it should not be your business. Okay? You can't use that in your business to buy a shop, but if you just want to buy a shop to give it out on rent, yes, you can. Okay, so we got two answers. One was given by Rishi, one was given by Pushpa. The first is to renovate, the second is to buy real estate, any form of real estate. Third question. What was the third thing you can use the money for? The people who have given the answer or who have attempted do not raise your hand. But let's say, Aishwarya, what's the third thing?
To repay your loan amount.
When we are
Which
going
loan?
to do ML का thing.
The existing
With
like which we
मैंने
have
तुम
taken.
के लिए कल वेट किया तो
Okay, so that means if I have
कल
taken a
क्या हो गया
personal
तो
loan,
मतलब मेरे को काम आ
uh,
गया.
can I,
कभी करने का है. कल मेरा डॉक्टर के
I
पास
can use it for personal loan as well?
कल मैं ऑफिस में रहता
मेरा डॉक्टर 5 बजे के बाद करता हूँ.
No, you can't.
क्योंकि परसों I'm full
Now
day
the
busy.
question
और I
is,
can meet परसों
can I
सुबह.
use a voucher
But I have to
to
go
buy a
for
real
the
estate?
है
session.
इट लाइक सैटरडे एंड
Switzerland
संडे
or Italy or Spain?
Saturday I'm not. Saturday we are going to job fair in Berlin.
ना
Sunday, papa, we have to do it. We
You
don't
can
have
only
any
use
other
it
option
inside
now.
the Germany.
I will.
Can I use this money
Oh,
to
yeah, I
renovate my
did
house
forget
in
to
my
put
home
the
country?
strawberry like this. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Gaurav, ऐसे करना भूल गया मैं.
Oh, यही तो पोस्ट कर रहा है.
If I complete my 40% of savings in 2 years or in just 6 months,
Take the.
can I get a loan from Bauspar?
No.
No.
इस बार गौरव की भी मिलती
3
है.
years minimum.
तेरी भी लेते. तेरा show में यार बचपन
That's
की
correct.
photo.
3 to 4
Please.
years is bare minimum.
And
If
I'll
you want
take a
even fully
picture.
loan, we
With
have
your
to check
photo.
with the
गौरव
Bauspar
की
company.
भी है ना वैसे.
What are the four?
बचपन की फोटो
Wait.
ऐसे करके वो सेम पोज पूरा एक्सप्रेशन. Come on, Teda. I talk to
Okay.
Shalin
What are the 4
afterwards, no?
factors that you
यार
have
वो
to
लाइक
meet?
उसको कुछ
What are the 4 criteria you have to meet in order to take the loan from Bauspar? One at a time. Raise your hands. Don't just say the answer. What are the 4 criteria you have to meet to take the loan from Bauspar company?
Open the button, the photo. And give expressions like
Neelam, what's the first one?
बनाना चाहिए.
Resident in Germany.
Come on, sure.
No.
Oh, ऊपर थोड़ा, हाँ.
Archana, what's the answer? Just give me
मैच नहीं होगा.
You should meet 40% of these
Fine.
criteria. Like,
40. Who answered 40%?
I answered 40%.
Yes. If you say 40%, what's the interest rate you get?
ये निकाल दे. This is like
1.9.
1.7.
serious.
Yes. Nobody else answers when she's doing. And what happens when you save 50%?
It's 0.95.
That's
अरे
correct.
विशाल का
So
बच्चा
that's the
मेरा
first
होता है, फिर
criteria.
मैं
You
ना
say
सबको
40% or 50%. At 40%, it's 1.75. 50% is 0.95.
But
What's
this
the
is too
second?
close.
ना चलेगा मेरे को अरे तो फिर वो
Sorry,
पीछे
but
फोटो
you
पे
can,
देखने से लगा कि हाँ
if you are not able to save in that time, you can also get that bridge over loan. So how come
Absolutely
this is a
correct.
criteria?
I mean, bridge over loan means that's a different option that you are using in Bauspar. But what is the ideal way to use Bauspar is to make sure that you save 40%. If you're not able to do it, that's a different scenario, right? But the main, and as I said yesterday, it's a super expensive way if the client goes for that. So I would never give that option to my client. Or
वाटर
recommend.
फिल्टर
Short
Okay.
area.
What's the second criteria? Raise
अच्छी बात
hands,
है
no
actually,
direct
like हम भी
answers.
लेना है
Pushpa, what's the second criteria?
Who has the oldest contract?
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. Third? So Archana, Pushpa, Neelam cannot answer. They have already answered. Neither Rishi. Who else? Yes, Sharat. What's third criteria?
Minimum lock-in period like 3 to 4 years.
No, that is something Pushpa already answered. The oldest one gets the first.
No.
No. What's the third and the fourth?
देख हमको फिनलैंड में
We have all the time in the world to sit and
एक
think.
शॉप दिखी है
Oh.
So, but the people who have attempted and who have answered will not
और ये
answer.
किसी इजिप्शियन की है ये जो शॉप है देखो
Yes, Aishwarya. What's the third criteria?
I can try. Like, is it like 1.6% you need to pay?
Excellent.
ये
Excellent.
देखो
Cost.
कौन से गोवा
हाँ
वाला
ये
You have
ये
paid
तो
the
देखा मैंने
cost
स्टेटस में
at
लगा
that point of time. Why are you afraid when you know the answer? Say it with confidence. See, if it's wrong, I would just say it's wrong. But make sure that you have confidence when you answer that, so that even your client knows that you have all the information. What's the fourth one? Excellent. Good job. Fourth. So who all answered is Rishi, Pushpa, Archana, Aishwarya, Neelam. 5 answered, 2 attempted, Sharat and Priyanka. Let's see who else wants to answer. What's the last criteria? Yes, go ahead.
The person should buy the house within the German border.
No.
But you mentioned this, right? Yesterday, like.
I mean, if you want to have the loan, yes, he has to buy, but that's not the criteria to get the loan. What was the fourth thing? The person who answers this, nobody can stop him
वो
and
तेरी ये
her
फोटो बहुत अच्छी आई
to
है
have huge units from Bauspar.
Actually,
Because this is also something that was mentioned 2 times, only for a fraction of a second. And that was again where I used a German word starting from the letter B. And then I said it's a technical factor. You can't calculate that by the system. What was that?
Bewertungszahl.
Yeah, Bewertungszahl. So it's Bewertungszahl.
कहीं वीडियोस पानी
Bewertung. Bewertung. SZAHL. It's a technical factor. You don't need to mention that to the client, but it's for your own understanding. So who would like to summarize for me what is Bauspar? Let's say I am super dumb client. I don't know what is Bauspar. I don't know why you should invest in real estate. or why one should invest in real estate. And I have come to you, and you have to explain it to me. Who wants to give it a try? So you can decide if you want me to be the most oversmart client to deal with, or you want me to be the easiest client.
तेजस्वी
You have the option.
क्या
मेरे दोस्त का शादी है, उसका नाम श्रीनिवास है, लड़की का नाम तेजस्वी है.
Who wants to give it a try? Who is looking themselves to get promoted in the next 1 month?
28th is marriage.
No what?
मेरे को कौन कहोगा कि तुम कहीं पर तो किसी की शादी के लिए जाने वाले थे इंडिया
जाना है.
Okay, got it.
You're going?
Nice.
Like,
You want me to be
पैसे
a good
लगेंगे,
client,
तो सोच रहा हूँ.
or you want me to be the oversmart client?
And I was raising hand for the promotion actually.
Okay, so that means then you are my next victim. If you want promotion, definitely you have to win the client. So let's say I'm your client. You have to explain Bauspar to me. Choose what type of client you want. Smooth and easy, or an oversmart client that most of the times we face.
I think let's go with the oversmart because most of the
Okay.
time we face.
Perfect. Don't judge me for my behavior. That's exactly how an oversmart client does. Cool. Let's say we jump onto the Google Meet call, and I would introduce myself as a client. Hi Gaurav, thank you for giving me the appointment. I saw your advertisement on Facebook. It was about Bauspar. I also got to hear this from my German friend, and I want to know what are you offering and how does it work.
Okay. So hi, my name is Gaurav and I'm a financial advisor for TVG. And as you were planning to buy a house, so I personally have a nice project which is called as Bauspar in German, where you can get a nice amount of finance for your future goal which you are planning to. But for that, there are some criteria which we need to fulfill. So to get that started, I need to ask you some questions. So may I start?
Okay. What are the questions? Please go ahead.
So basically, I want to ask that how much is the amount of asset which you are planning to buy in the future?
I actually have no idea. It depends on how good the property is.
Okay. So have you seen any property or are you like visiting some?
No, I have not seen it so far, but I stay in Munich, so the properties here are very expensive.
Okay. Is like as you're staying in Munich, so is there any area which you're targeting to, or any locality, any district?
No, not as such.
Okay, fair enough. So also with this, I wanted to know that what kind of budget you're keeping in your mind, because then as things are pretty different in Germany, where you will also be needing to take care of the other things after buying the house. So what kind of budget or what kind of thing you're planning to?
As I said, I have not yet thought about it.
Okay, fair enough. So also with that, I would like
Just a sec. I don't know where I'm getting this background noise. I think it's from your side. Can you check?
no, there is no background noise from my end.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So,
yes, as I said, I have not yet thought about
Okay.
the price of the property.
Okay, no worries. So, I would also like to know that are you married or are you single?
I am single.
Okay. Okay. So, So first of all, when you want to take a Bauspar, there are some criteria basically which you need to fulfill.
You have muted yourself.
I don't know. Okay, so first of all, starting with Bauspar, we need to understand that there are some criteria which you need to fulfill to move ahead with your goal. So are you aware about it, or like you need some more clarity on this? How much you are having knowledge about this?
I have no idea about Bauspar. Zero idea.
Okay, fair enough. So Bauspar is basically where you can get your finance, or you can say an investment for your property which you are planning to. Here you will need to fulfill the criteria. For an example, you will need to at least collect 50% of the amount of the property which you are planning to buy. So then the interest rate will be very cheap, which will be less than 1%, to be more precise 0.95%. And if you collect 40% of the amount, then the interest will be 1.75%, which is still below 2%. So are you comfortable? Are you understanding? Do you need any more clarity?
So is Bauspar a bank?
Well, this is not a bank. It is kind of a loan. Yes, we have tie-up with some other companies which will provide you the loan.
Okay. And where do I need to put my 40%?
You will need to save it in the Bauspar. For an example, you save every month 400 euros.
Okay.
So basically, in 1 year, you will be able to collect roughly.
800?
Sorry, no, in 1 year, I mean to say, for an example, if every month you collect 400 euros.
Yes, in a year it's 4,800.
So in 1 year you will be having 4,800 euros. So
Okay.
this you will need to go for at least 10 years. So after that you will be having the amount most probably for the property which you are planning to buy. You can also try to invest more.
If you say if I have to put 400 euros every month, that comes to 4,800 euros a year, and in 10 years that's 48,000. If I get the remaining 60%, that would be 112,000, around about, or 112, and I cannot buy a property worth 160,000 in Munich.
Well, for that we have a modification through this process. For an example, you get any kind of bonus or any kind of appreciation, promotion. So with this, after 2 3 years, you can also increase the amount, or you can also play lump sum when you're having some kind of special amount in your pocket or in your bank account. So this will help you reach your goal faster.
Okay. But also the property price will increase in the next 10 years, right?
Yes, of course.
So then why would I wait 10 years and take Bauspar, whereas I can go with the bank loan? I don't have to save anything. I can get 100% loan. With you, I can get only 60% loan. So why would I wait 10 years, pay the rent for next 10 years, and also buy the real estate, which will be expensive?
But with this, you will be having less interest on this. And also, I didn't mention this, that the amount which you will be saving, you will also get 0.5% interest on the investment as well, which will also help you. But yeah, that will not make that much of a difference. But you will get an low interest for your investment, so you have to, like, you will feel more
What's
confident.
the interest rate right now for housing loan?
It's roughly 3%.
3%?
I think it's 6%.
6%? But you lost
You're
me over there,
kidding
buddy.
me.
You lost me. Talking of Bauspar, which is a high intensive unit product which gives you 200, 300 units, and if you don't know what's the existing housing loan interest, you will lose the client. Okay, we'll continue this conversation, but let's see who knows what's the existing housing loan interest. Who knows?
8%.
8%?
I don't know. 5%.
5%? No?
Can
No,
I try? It's
Yes.
4.2 to 4.5%.
Yes.
5%.
Yeah. No, but you can't say 5. There's a huge difference in 4.2 and 5. It sounds a difference of 0.8, but if you take the client interest rate is 5, he will run away because actual interest rate in the market is 3.8 to 4.5. You have to be very accurate when you quote percentage, especially about the loans. Okay? So, Gaurav, you said the interest rate in the market is, right now what I'm getting is 4%. With you, I have to wait 10 years, save 40%, and still what I will get is 1.75. So I am actually saving only 2.25% of interest.
Plus
That's
the
it.
amount. Plus you will get 0.5% interest on the amount which you have invested.
0.5?
0. Yeah, 0.5%. Yeah. 0.55.
0.5? Was it 0.5?
I think so. Yes, it was 0.55 as per my understanding.
It's 0.05.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks for
So
the
if you give
clarity.
me that point, let's say you put that point, then I will get 0.05%. Why would I not put 400 euros in a fixed deposit where you are offering, or Deutsche Bank is offering me 3.8%? Or why cannot I put the same 400 euros in a Vermögensaufbau where you said I can get 8%? Why do I need Bauspar?
Basically, this is something which we can say that is a future planning. With the other which you are saying, of course, you can go with that loan as well. This will help you take the house right now, but I will suggest you to go with this plan because after 10 years, then you will be able to buy two houses most probably, and that might sound better for you.
How will I be able to buy two houses if the housing price goes up? Every year the price of the house increases. How can I buy two instead of one if I wait 10 years? Also, I am paying 1500 euros as my rent every month. So 1500 euros times 12 is 18,000 euros a year. By waiting for the next 10 years, I'm already paying 180,000 euros in rent. So that's the amount I'm losing by waiting with Bauspar.
Basically, with this, you will be having less interest rate, and with the other loan which you are talking about, you will be having more interest rate, and that will be a huge hole on your pocket. So, for this, basically, this is an advisory, or we can say a financial planning for the long term.
How much will I save? I give you straight away numbers. My rent is 1500. By waiting for the next 10 years, I am losing 180,000 euros in rent, and the interest I'm saving is only 2.25. Why would I go with Bauspar when I'm losing 180,000 by not buying the property right away?
Okay, so now I want to ask a question. If you take a loan, so you will be still able to pay in Bauspar? Yeah, Bauspar?
Why would I still pay in Bauspar when I have a loan already?
Okay. So for an example, if somebody takes a loan which is okay, but he will not get the loan more than the property's value, right?
I don't want the loan more than property's value anyways. Why would I need a loan?
No, that was my question actually. I got it, okay. Okay. So I think this is the best which
Okay, you tried your best,
I think
but
so.
there are some information that you need to know when you pitch such client. Not a problem. Who else wants to give it a try? You can choose if you want me to be the best or the worst. Smooth or the over smooth. Who else is going to be getting promoted in the next couple of months?
पूछा मैंने उसको क्वेश्चन नहीं उसने अभी बोला
No one? Why did we have an intensive training then? Okay, shut up. Smooth or over smart?
Yeah, you can be an over smart one.
Okay.
And sorry, in the middle, if I be coughing, I'm not feeling good.
Not a problem. Take care of yourself. It's commendable that you still joined, because on the other side there are some people who did not even join. So
क्या हुआ तेजा गया
yes.
क्या बोला वो
So we can continue where we left off with Gaurav by the case, if you want to continue there.
We can.
So, for example, you do not have any idea about what amount of budget you have for the property, or that is what I heard.
Yes.
Do you have any idea when you want to buy the property? Also,
I mean, if I like a house in 6 months, I would buy it, and if I get a loan. If I don't get a loan for next 2 years, then I would buy it in the 3rd year.
Okay. So, if you are only planning it to buy a property after 3 to 4 years, I would suggest you to sign a contract with Bauspar. Otherwise, also you can start a Bauspar, so where you can modernize the house when you are planning to buy it in the future, or also you can use the same contract for the repayment of your loan once you buy the property, so that you can reschedule or the interest optimization what you will be getting right now. Consider having the inflation rate of 6%, and you do not know after 10 years what will be the interest rate. Just imagine, like 4 years back, we were getting an interest of 1% or 0.8. Do you think that will be the case in 10 years?
But firstly, I would not buy a property where I need to renovate. I would buy it from the construction companies or the builders who are making fresh new properties.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the energy certificate A, B, not anything old. So I'm not interested in buying any old apartments, and so I don't think I would need renovation, or I would need money for renovation. And if I need money, I can simply take an additional personal loan, or I have as of today 35,000, 40,000 euros as savings. I can use that money to renovate my house.
Okay. But still, considering you planning to buy a new house, it is better to have a Bauspar. So it is not only for the modernization, it's not only for the house. If you want to rebuild your garden, for example, or if you want to make any changes in your house later in the future, not like at the right moment.
Okay.
See, you might have some plans after you buy the house, like after 5 years, you want to make some changes. So you will have a fixed interest rate. So you are fixing the interest, like once you are starting to save some money. Like for example, most of the people, like, oh yeah, I have in my bank account this much of money, and I'll be using it for that. But some of them who do not know how to handle the money, it is better so that you are sure that this money is saved only for this. When you're signing a contract, like exactly that this amount of money is there, and then even after 5 years or 6 years, you can use that money whenever you want. But when you're saving it in your bank account, or when you're not sure what you will be spending it on, or for some you don't know, or if you want to buy a car in the future or what else, you might use that money. So if you do not know how to sorry, that's not. If you do not know how to different like make a proper planning of your money, so this will give you a perfect help, so that you are exactly saving that money is fixed for the housing or whatever planning you will be making, and then the rest amount you can spend for your daily expenditures. for example?
So, to be honest, I had my master's in finance, so
Mhm.
I think I can do that part pretty well.
Mhm.
And if I want to buy a car tomorrow, I'll take a car loan.
Mhm.
If I want to renovate my house, I'll take a personal loan.
Mhm.
But how about if I would put the same amount of money in investments or in stocks or in ETF?
Mhm.
I would definitely earn more interest because the only amount of interest I save with Bauspar and without is only 2.25. However, with investments, I can easily earn 8 to 10% a year. So, will I save 2% or will I earn 10%? What do you think as an advisor?
That's actually a good idea. I would ask you to diversify your planning, as you told, like you are a financial master graduate. You should know how to diversify your money.
Absolutely. So, we already started gold investment last month with you.
Mhm.
We already have a depot account with you. And
Okay.
we also have buses renter.
Yeah.
So, I believe it's pretty well diversified. Why do I need still Bauspar?
That's, I would suggest, like, yeah, that's a good idea or the plan what you have already going on. And Bauspar, it's a completely different line what you're thinking. This is completely related to fixing your interest rate, because in depot or whatever Vermögensaufbau, if we, you do not know for the sure what will be the inflation after 10 years, for example, you might not get like 6% to 8%, or you might not get at that moment like 2% of interest for your housing loan if you want to buy a property. So you will be losing a lot of money when you are repaying your amount.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So you need to think about, please.
But as the interest can go up, it can go down as well. So I know that in the year 2014, 2015 in Germany,
Mhm.
the interest rate had increased to 3% and then it went back to 0.8%. I believe that would happen again once the both of the war have settled.
But I'm sure, like, what will be the case in 10 years if we might get another corona, for example?
Are
or
you
any
sure
other
you have corona after 10 years? Can you guarantee?
life cycle, for example, yes. In 2008, there was another fall. In 2020, there was another. This is, for example, like the financial crisis. So
Mhm.
every 8 to 10 years, there is some financial crisis going on.
But I'm
So
buying the house after 3 years.
if you want to buy after 3 years,
How will the situation after 10 years affect when I'm buying it right away after 3 years max? Or maybe after 6 months if I like the house.
if for 6 months, then I would not suggest you to make a Bauspar
Okay.
fixing a housing loan. But
Okay.
yeah, this I do not know how to handle now.
Okay. Anybody else?
Our
Would
client
like
is so smart. I think you only become a financial advisor.
But you can't say that. You can't say that. If you say so, you can't deal with client. You know? So I don't know if you have experience or not, but yes. In my last 3.5 years of experience, I have even experienced worse client than this.
Mhm.
And as an advisor, you can never answer back the way you did. If you do so, it takes me 2 minutes to go on Facebook and write, I would never go to this advisor because he does not know how to talk, blah, 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 blah. And then every time you post an ad,
Yeah.
I'll make sure to comment down. So I would not do that because then it's not only your impression, it's also about you carrying the impression and the brand of DVAG. Because then everybody thinks that all the advisors of DVAG are the same. So there are many different ways how I would handle the client. So first of all, I would never try to explain Bauspar the way you did over the telephone. I would make sure to have the detail in the system on DVAG online system. I would show them that how does it look like, how are you able to secure the interest rate in the written format through the PDF that's created out of Bauspar the way I showed. That's how it makes my job pretty easy. If the client would say, how about I would invest the same kind of money that's when I would use the answer given by Sharath. What if the same year you want to withdraw, we have COVID again, or maybe yellow fever, or some flu, or some pandemic, or maybe Russia starting a war with Germany? Nobody knows, and that can also lead to the crash in price of property with the crash in price of your investments. So nothing is secure, but at least with Bauspar, your 0.95 is secure. So would you buy something with guarantee or would you buy something with warranty? So Bauspar is a guarantee of 0.95. The second thing, you do not lose your principal amount. If I put my money in bank, the bank can go bankrupt. If I put my money in stocks, the company can shut down or the stocks market can crash. If I put my money, let's say, into BA, again, it is dependent on the stock market, it can crash. But in Bauspar, it does not. So that is how I would handle such client. And I would first make sure that the client gives me a very concrete answer if he really wants to buy the house or not. I would not buy his point 6 months or 3 years because that's a huge difference. Okay, so Bauspar is very complicated thing to explain, and that's why I would say practice it as much as you can with yourself. Look into the mirror and explain yourself Bauspar and think like a client. Think like the worst client you can get, and that will how it makes you the best person. The other thing to do is when your coach, if you don't have the access to online system, ask your coach to create the PDF of Bauspar and go through it. On the internet, you can read about Bauspar. That's where you will have reviews, positive, negative, both about Bauspar from the client's perspective. And that gives you or prepares you better to answer them when they have such stupid questions. Okay? Cool. So I have a hard stop at 7:30, but we still have 7 minutes. If anybody wants to still ask me a question, please go ahead. No questions? So Sharath, the reason why I said that I have taken all these investments from you was to make sure that you do have confidence on what you suggested me. If you try to get a little bit off this topic, the client might think that you are not so sure and might just cancel the contract with you. This is what had happened with me in the past. So to be honest, I never did Bauspar contract with my client. I started doing it last year. I always felt I was unprepared for it. Okay? I started my journey in DVAG since January 2021. I started doing Bauspar in July 2023. Okay? So take your time. Don't just pitch, because maybe that client was supposed to be the best client or the smooth client, but just because you could not explain him or her in a better way, you lost the lead. And understand how many people are in the call? 16 people, including me. Maybe the same person tomorrow goes to Neelam, and maybe she can explain pretty well, and he becomes her client. Or maybe he comes to me, and I explain him super well, and then he becomes my client. So that's why every lead is make sure that if you can't do it, so there is somebody else on this call already to take care of that client. And in DVAG, we have 18,000 advisors. So then it's a huge, huge market. Yes, Gaurav.
I wanted to see how the easy client goes.
Easy client?
Yeah.
Okay, we have 5 minutes, we can try.
I guess someone can ask and
Okay, if I have the easy client, I'll give you my experience on the easiest client. I just explained him the Bauspar via presentation, the way I explained it to you. And he said, yes, I understand that it's important to secure the interest rate. And he said, I will start with a minimum amount, 100,000, and then I would increase it whenever I like the property. Super smooth and simple client. So that's also what you can suggest. Start with small, and later on they can increase or decrease. I can't decrease though, sorry, only increase. 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go. Any questions? Yes, Neelam?
So, is this 100,000 is the minimum amount to start the Bauspar?
So minimum is even 25, but I would not tell that to my client. I'm not going to put so many hours and get almost none of the units out of it. Because see, 25,000 does not benefit me, neither benefits my client. You can't buy a real estate with 25,000. I can't renovate my house with 25,000. Try to go on IKEA website and see how much does one kitchen cost. Okay? If you see the kitchen on the Instagram, the nice, beautiful ones, that will also cost you 20-25. So me making a Bauspar of 25 with my client doesn't help, because how much interest will he get? 2.45. 2.45 does no benefit to him. So that's why I would say my client, hey, 100,000 is minimum. I mean, that's my way. You can also do it for 50,000. You can also do it for 80,000. That's completely up to you.
Okay, and can you explain this 2.45% thing again? In which condition this applies?
Doesn't matter you bring 60 or 40, 2.45 remains. So you remember yesterday I showed you a chart that what's the percentage you get for anything less than 100,000?
Yes, okay.
Yes, I can try to open the chart again. Yeah. And then those who want,
and this this 2.45% has the same is the same thing like the other percentages, like it remains the same until you pay it off.
Correct. So those who want to click the photograph, there you go.
Is it possible that you can share the presentation?
Yes, I can. There you go. That's the screenshot. 2.45, as I said, for 25 to 50, 50 to 100, 1.95, 1.75, and so on.
Can you maximize the screen?
Sure. Cool. Perfect.
Thank you.
Those who want, then they can click the photo. Those who want to wait for presentation, you can wait for the presentation. Okay. So then wishing you all a very pleasant evening, wishing you a lot of success with Bauspar. I hope I tried my best to train you on this topic. You can leave the feedback in the group if you enjoyed the training, if it was different from the other trainers. And thank you for being a wonderful audience. Till then, bye-bye, take care, and again, wishing you a lot of success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.